Good morning. Welcome to our 5th annual State of the Department Grand Rounds, which we over the past 4 years have done as a tradition. When we welcome our visiting general surgery resident applicants, welcome. We're thrilled to have you here for a very exciting day. I'd like to thank the leadership of the Baylor College of Medicine as well as Baylor St. Luke's Medical Center for joining us as well to tell what I think has been just an story of an absolutely incredible year. And an absolutely incredible 4 years, which really is a tribute, as always, to the DeBakey Department of Surgery, our faculty, our staff, and our residents. So let me begin. Our vision, which was developed 4 years ago by our faculty, reflective of Dr. DeBakey's own statement in terms of his aspiration, which is the pursuit of excellence as being Dr. DeBakey's own objective, winning the Congressional Gold Medal. Our vision to become a highly visible national brand reflecting innovation in surgery and excellence in practice, to develop the future leaders of our profession, and to be creators of disruptive innovation, collaborating with our hospital supporters and partners to build very high quality, efficient, and effective clinical practices. I certainly think the story of this past year are reflective of those very lofty goals. Our department as it stands today has been built to reflect those goals and objectives, most importantly in terms of developing a very strong infrastructure in terms of education, as seen on the left under the auspices and supervision of Dr. Brad Scott and Holly Shillstone, research through the leadership of Scott Lemaire and Barbara Troutner, Johnny Chen, and in terms of outreach, the tremendous efforts of Rizwan Motan and Scott Holmes in particular, in terms of making sure the message of the Baylor Michael E. DeBakey Department of Surgery clearly resonate not just regionally but locally. At our glance, our department today includes 140 faculty members, 160 voluntary faculty members, over 250 staff, centered around 11 divisions, collaborations with a cancer center, a new lung institute under the leadership of David Sugarbaker, divisions of pediatric congenital heart surgery and plastic surgery at Texas Children's, and importantly, very strong new centers in terms of research and innovation led by Stuart Kaur, Billy Cohn, Bijan Najafi. Research funding now totals over $7 million. NIH funding, which we're going to talk about in a bit, well over $3 million, and in the past year we have generated over 350 peer-reviewed books, chapters, and invited protocols. Our educational program now includes over 120 residents and fellows, divided amongst our 8 categorical positions and 17 preliminary positions, and our specialty programs now includes a dozen areas of expertise in general surgery, surgical specialties, and advanced training such as our VA Chief Residency in Quality and Patient Safety, development of our VA Chief, Sam Awad. We continue to grow in the past year. The good news for Joe Doty and Jim McDivitt, yes, we're almost done, not quite, but we're almost there. In the last year, we've added nearly 20 new faculty members, including a very important new acute care surgery division, Chad Wilson joining us from NYU, Marcus Hoffman joining us from Pittsburgh, Natasha Becker, Lauren Gilroy, one of our own. In general surgery and surgical oncology, we are particularly proud to welcome Omar Barakat and Claire Ozaki. They saw the light and joined us from the private side over at St. Luke's Medical Center, and they've been tremendous additions to our faculty. In addition, in the surgical oncology arena, Lisa Halbert, as we're going to talk about, has made tremendous advances in only her first year here on the faculty, as has Stacy Carter in breast surgery, and Carrie Sue over at Ben Taub, working with Eric Silverfine. Importantly, another steal that we're a bit proud of, Nilson Salas, again, was on the dark side and had been working over at the Methodist Mighty Lab for a number of years. He became enlightened in the past 2 years and is now leading our simulation lab, which is, again, one of the pride and joys of our department. Other new faculty have joined and significantly grown our department under Joe Mills' leadership. The Vascular Surgery division has been completely revamped, including the additions of Miguel Montero, Bijan Najafi, and Jonathan Braun. The University of Arizona faculty has been significantly depleted, another thing that we're a bit sheepishly proud of. Jeffrey Ross has joined us in an entirely new subspecialty of podiatry within the Department of Surgery. In CT transplant mechanical circulatory support, beginning to carry on the mantle of Bud Frazier and Billy Cohn. Jeff Morgan has joined us in the past years, our new chief of MCS and cardiothoracic transplant, and joined by one of our own, and again, something that we're tremendously proud of, being able to take our graduating fellows and bring them onto the faculty. Masa Ono has contributed significantly already in the first year of his faculty appointment. In cardiothoracic surgery, an entirely new enterprise within the department. Subha Chatterjee has joined us as our new chief of our cardiothoracic intensive care unit. Never existed previously at Baylor St. Luke's Medical Center, and even equally significant and important when there was a time of need. Chen Ning, who is the most outstanding endovascular harvest specialist in the world, joined the faculty to make sure that our support services in cardiac surgery are well supported. Abdominal transplant continues to grow, the world's longest recruitment in history, lasting well over 2 years. Dr. Goss lost 20 years on this 2-year recruitment. Isam Ndikokalu joined us from University of Maryland, an internationally recognized expert in hepatorenal syndrome. And again, finally, another one of our own, Ron Cotton, who is a Baylor lifer, began in kindergarten here, is now become a member of the full-time faculty, has taken tremendous strides in building the VA program in particular. Finally, in general thoracic surgery, Dr. Sugarbaker's group continues to grow. Ori Wall joining, Ethan Poteet as well. In plastic surgery, we have significant growth, and we're going to talk about some exciting opportunities in terms of a new adult plastic surgery section, which has never existed before as a separate entity. Chris Peterson, internationally recognized hand surgeon, Sebastian Winokur, and over on TCH side, Renata and Tuan Truong have joined us as well. Finally, in pediatrics, continues to grow with the expansion in the Woodlands and elsewhere under Chuck Fraser's leadership, and Jed Nocturne, Adam Vogel, and Soha Shah have joined, as well as Shola Oluna Ranapa. Other major leadership addition under Dr. Coselli's leadership, including good fortune of recruiting Ernesto Jimenez to be our new chief of cardiac surgery at the VA, and Ernesto has already made great strides in moving the VA program forward, and we're thrilled to have Ernesto here. Ernesto, welcome again. And in 2 weeks, Ravi Ganta will be joining us as our new chief of cardiac surgery at Ben Taub. Will be, I think, offering significant contributions in the cardiac surgery program overall. So all told, over the past 4 years, we have seen significant growth in terms of our faculty, increasing by approximately 40% from 102 faculty members in 2013 to our current total of approximately 138. This reflects growth across our entire campus, as depicted here, including 43 new faculty added to Baylor St. Luke's Medical Center and THI, as well as core resources at the Baylor College of Medicine we'll talk about, and growth at Ben Taub and the VA as well. To support this growth in faculty, of course, having strong staff to support our faculty, our residents, and our staff are critical. And we're proud in the last year to introduce and add a number of very key recruits, including Renata Eaton, who is specifically tasked to lead our faculty development program, being ably assisted by Amy Silva, Susan Ressler helping us with HR, Jared Codon as our new administrator for thoracic surgery, Jennifer Fadner doing an absolutely outstanding job leading the very large general surgery and surgical oncology group, Angie Collins helping us in our main office, and then as mentioned, I will show you some spectacular work by Rizwan Motan working with Scott Holmes in developing our social media, and Kim and Deborah helping us on our research and our clinical practice fronts respectively. The clinical practice, which did not exist 3 years ago, there was no Baylor St. Luke's surgery clinical practice 3 years ago, now has grown to a staff of approximately 40, including our 12 additions in the past year, pictured here. all of whom have allowed us to take tremendous strides in providing great service to our patients in support of our faculty in their surgical enterprise. Our faculty continue to step up and truly are the core of our entire department and our enterprise, and I'm very proud to point out and present the faculty members who have stepped up in the past year, significantly including Joe Coselli, who has assumed the role of Vice Chair for Surgery, Bill Fisher, who's become our Clinical Vice Chair for Clinical Development, and Rob Todd, who's taken on the mantle of being Chief of Acute Care Surgery, helping Bill Fisher. George Van Buren has stepped up as our medical affairs director and a medical director within the clinical practice group of the FGP. Joe Mills has assumed additional titles, leading the limb salvage program over at St. Luke's, and importantly, Cheyenne Izidus, as we reach out to CHI National and CHI Texas Division. Cheyenne has been working tirelessly scouring the greater East Texas territory of CHI, making sure we're properly liaison with the CHI hospitals across East Texas. The story I'll tell a little bit later involves Stuart Core and his stepping up in terms of technology development. Sean similarly stepping up and becoming Associate Program Director of the Thoracic Surgery Residency Program, and additional leadership as depicted here. We continue to promote our faculty as depicted here. Rob Todd being promoted to a professor together with Dean McKenzie. Rania Provenza promotion to associate professor together with Eric Silverfine, and additional promotions to the associate professor rank as depicted in this slide. Again, congratulations to our faculty, each and every one, as they continue to progress along. Our awards of our faculty, reflective of the tremendous contributions and qualifications of each of our faculty member, are literally too many to even begin to list, but I wanted to point out and highlight a few of the exceptional, even by the standards of our own department. First and foremost, Larry Ollier, who is today out at Prescini, wherever they may be, was named, this is true, U.S. Physician of the Year for Prescini. Now, I don't know how you become Physician of the Year in Prescini, but however it needs to be done, Larry figured out how to do it. He has also made a tremendous contribution as a board member of the Duke Global Health Initiative, as a chair of Smile Train, which any of you are familiar with, is just a phenomenal organization helping children around the world with cleft lip and palate and other congenital problems, and is a newly elected member of the American Surgical Association representing plastic surgery, the American Board of Surgery. Dr. Maddox, who everyone knows is a perennial presence on this slide, usual summary awards and contributions is depicted here, but this year Dr. Maddox, I think, has outdone himself, and in particular, I think our faculty has outdone itself. The first time that I know, at least, and I'll ask our historians to correct me if I'm wrong, we have created, this is under the leadership of Rob Todd and Eric Silverfine, a new faculty-supported, faculty-initiated chair or endowment in surgery, the Kenneth L. Maddox Endowment in Surgery, begun this year to commemorate Dr. Maddox's 110th birthday. Not really. I think truly both a tribute to Dr. Maddox and an absolutely a phenomenal contribution of our faculty. Again, as far as you know, in our history, there's never been a faculty-initiated and sponsored endowment, and truly a credit. Other awards and honors as indicated, Scott Lemaire has sort of come home. Dr. DeBakey, as many know, was instrumental in founding the National Library of Medicine. And Scott Lemaire, in a singular achievement this year, was named to the National Library of Medicine Literature Review Committee, and additional honors is noted there. Rob Todd becoming a member of the Executive Committee of the F.A.C.S Board of Governors, Dr. Sugarbaker, and Dr. Fraser, as indicated here. An important new aspect of the college supporting the clinical enterprise are the Rising Star and Master Clinician Awards, and this year we're proud to announce that 4 members of our faculty, as pictured here, have been named: Drs. Lee, Lopez, Silverfine, and Suleberg, truly reflective of their contributions. And finally, our residents and students have contributed as well. Again, literally too many to name individually, but really and many, many more not depicted on this slide. But again, our residents continue to contribute. And in the bottom right, perhaps reflective of the theme of overachievement, Dora Yoeli has won innumerable awards and honors in the past year as one of our medical students liaison with the department. And again, each and every one have contributed tremendously to the progress and achievements of the department. One of our key missions, of course, is clinical leadership, and we have contributed over the past year significantly. The call went out from Dr. Klopman in our clinical leadership, Dr. McDevitt, Joe Doty to step up and lead, and I certainly think we have done so. As depicted here, we have hold significant leadership positions now across Baylor St. Luke's Medical Center, our clinical partner, including John Costa's role as Service Chief of Transplant, Steve Curley in Surgical Oncology, Bill Fisher taking on the General Surgery service line, and Section Chiefs is depicted here, including Claire Ozaki, who has stepped up within the first year for joining the faculty, become Section Chief for General Surgery. Nationally, again, Steve Curley playing an important role leading the National Cardiac Oncology Service line, Jeff Morgan getting in the fray and helping form a Center of Excellence in Mechanical Circulatory Support, and David Sugarbaker as well taking on the same mission in terms of the Lung Institute. Importantly, again, the call went out in terms of supporting the clinical mission, and I would certainly put to you that the Department of Surgery has contributed significantly. On the left, you see our growth in clinical case volume at Baylor St. Luke's Medical Center with vascular surgery and thoracic surgery, importantly beyond our perennials in cardiac surgery and general surgery, contributing tremendous and important new clinical volume to support the needs of our patients and the enterprise over at Baylor St. Luke's Medical Center. Importantly, although it is hard to believe, up till 2 years ago, there were no dedicated focused ICUs in cardiac surgery or surgical intensive care. Under Department of Surgery leadership in the past year, we have opened a new surgical intensive care unit led by Rob Southern and Rob Todd. And in the last 2 months, we have added to the leadership with Subha Chatterjee's leadership of a new dedicated cardiothoracic surgery intensive care unit, which we are confident, together with our acute care surgery program, are going to add significantly to improving the quality of care over at St. Luke's. We've been supported by David Berker and others over at the hospital and have switched to a modern model of mid-level support, now with 10 new FTEs in our surgery service lines, 10 additional FTEs, mid-levels, fellows, residents, et cetera, to support our ICUs, and an increase in our resident cohort over there to help our faculty of now approximately 35 supporting the clinical mission over at St. Luke's Medical Center. Under Bill Fisher's leadership and others, we are now beginning with the support of our new CEO, Gay Nord, we'll be beginning to be able to cohort our patients on specialized floors at St. Luke's and brought in new innovations that are, of course, relevant to improving clinical quality, such as discharge rounds, integrated call schedules, and dedicated support. Reflected of this growth, the good news for our financial team is that our work RVUs, medical fees, continue to increase at a phenomenal clip of 10% over the past year, bringing our med fees up to nearly $20 million. And our clinical service as well continues to improve to levels that we can all be proud of. Pictured here, Sean Groth winning this past year the That's the Way Award, reflective of clinical service and commitment, and is pictured on the top left. We can see that now in each and every one of our clinical services and specialties have now achieved green status in terms of our press gaining likelihood of recommending the practice metric. Clearly, a lot of work still needs to be done, and we're fortunate to have Drs. Choi, Miguel Montero Baker, and George Van Buren joining with our clinical administrative leadership, Lisa Icard, who has served us so tremendously over the past 3 years, now with the addition of Deb Bennett and others to lead our clinical program. important initiatives that our clinical team have put forth, including as depicted here, creating a great culture of access, open communication, respect, and personal accountability, certainly things that I think will take us far over the coming few years, and a number of other initiatives as depicted here that will truly make our clinical services second to none. In considering our research mission, again, tremendous accomplishments and progress over the last year and 3 years under the leadership of Scott Lemaire, Barbara Troutner, and Johnny Chen. Phenomenal achievements. I think if you had asked to go as far as we have over in the last 3 years, we would state that that would be unreasonable and unexpectable expectations. From a low of less than $500,000 in 2014 in NIH funding, we today stand at $3.8 million in total NIH funding, and $7.2 million in total research funding across the department, only in 3 short years of the leadership of these individuals. Truly tremendous success. The department research core, as everyone knows, has become an incredibly important resource that is here available at the department to serve our residents, students, and faculty to maximize and leverage their research potential. Today we stand at 62 clinical trials under research core support, double 2015. The core now includes 30 members supporting faculty, residents, and staff, monitoring over 60 trials, as I mentioned, with $48 million in research grants submitted over the past year. Those have translated into an all-time high of nearly 350 peer-reviewed and other publications, averaging 3 publications per faculty member and at least 1 publication per resident. 42 of these papers have appeared in high-impact journals, as depicted here, including a major density of contributions to plastic surgery, cardiac surgery, and general vascular, as well as surgical research journals. All of our divisions have participated robustly, as depicted here, including leadership by abdominal transplant, surgical oncology, plastic surgery, and cardiothoracic surgery divisions. A number of the high-profile, high-impact publications include those in Cell, Nature, JAMA, Nature Genetics, and the Journal of Clinical Oncology, certainly not throwaway journals. And in particular, I would like to mention and take a moment to feature one such publication, which I think is truly reflective of both the traditions, the accomplishments, and the great potential and future expected contributions of our department. So Joe Coselli, in the past year, has been a bit busy. He was president of the American Association of Thoracic Surgery, the preeminent professional society in the world, following on the heels of another of our faculty members, David Sugarbaker. I think we're the only department in history to have 2 sitting faculty members serving in that role. Joe, minor element is the national PI for the Thoraflex Terumo TVAR stent program, and in the past year won the Master Clinician Award, which is the highest recognition for clinical proficiency, won previously by Dr. Maddox and Dr. Goss. Small accomplishments, all in a day's work for Dr. Coselli, but I, again, would want to bring everyone's attention to his publication this past year of his personal series of over 3,300 thoracoabdominal aneurysms. I think any cardiac surgeon in the world would be proud of 33 thoracoabdominal aneurysms, but Joe is published on 3,300. By way of our reference, the previous record holder was Joe's mentor, Stanley Crawford, one of Dr. DeBakey's core and leaders and truly an inventor of the entire field. Dr. Crawford clocked in at 1,600 thoracoabdominal aneurysms in his presentation. So in a typical Department of Surgery fashion, Joe was overachieved a bit and really contributed what will be for all time historic and iconic contribution to the literature. So We are, of course, tremendously proud of Joe, and I think truly a reflection of the heart and soul of what this department represents. Continuing that legacy, this year we had again, our 4th annual Resident Research Day organized by Scott Lemaire. And again, once again, record-setting in terms of the most abstracts, the greatest participation. We've now added a total of 9 seed grants to support young faculty, and perhaps significantly, for many of us, we were fortunate to have Katrine and Olga DeBakey join us this year. And in Katrine's comments, watching the spectacle of the department in action, she noted that, in fact, even Dr. DeBakey would be very proud of what he was seeing what she had seen going on in our Department of Surgery. Our research funding continues robustly, as indicated here. Again, a true track record of achievement and accomplishment is depicted, and I would, again, as we pointed out a couple of weeks ago at our town hall, Panos Kougios, again, hitting it out of the park with a $17 million VA grant to study and examine OR scheduling efficiency and transfusion principles in surgery. Truly accomplishment. So how does this translate into where we are nationally? It's depicted here on the left. These are the Blue Ridge rankings of our NIH funding taken as a benchmark of accomplishment. In 2013, we ranked at 59th with about $500,000 in funding. Last year, we increased our NIH funding to $2.3 million, rising to a rank of approximately 35. And as the Blue Ridge comes out as predicted, we should at $3.2 million in dedicated NIH funding, as Blue Ridge calculates it, come out somewhere around 26th or 27th, well ahead of, not that I'm competitive, but NYU, Weill Cornell, UTMB, UT, and joining the ranks of Columbia Northwestern. So there's tremendous accomplishment over the last few years. And again, under the leadership of Scott Lemaire, tremendous opportunities and the support of Dr. Klopman and our college leadership. The next year, we're going to supplement our continuing activities to develop our research portfolio with additional NIH-funded recruits. Our education mission, again, is one of the true cores of our department, and again, significant accomplishments in the education front as well, led by Georgia Holder-Haynes and Stephanie Gordy, as well as Ashley Cremieto, who has served us incredibly well over the last 3 years. We've accomplished what I thought, quite frankly, was impossible. Our UME, LCME metrics have gone from unacceptable, this 50th to 70th percent in terms of our direct observation, midpoint feedback, et cetera, to now consistently and perennially at 100%. Truly a great accomplishment, reflective of the quality of our UME and GME program. I would say our number of general surgery match applicants coming from Baylor has doubled in the past year. Our preclinical shadowing program, our mentorship program have grown tremendously, and we have expanded our UME program in terms of new ICU rotations and the disengagement from the ED sub-rotation with the support of the college. Pictured at the bottom left is our annual student ACS travel fellowship dinner this year held in Washington. A good time was had by all, and importantly, our students who we recognize for their undergraduate accomplishments had a tremendous experience, as usual, at the American College of Surgeons. Our GME program, under Brad Scott's leadership, again, continues to grow, excel, and reach new heights, as depicted here. Not meaning to worry any of our applicants here today. Our average, and none of whom need to be worried without doubt, our average incoming USMLE score is now approximately 250, which puts our applicants in the top 15% of applicants nationally. We have had over 1,300 applications for 8 positions. Glad I'm not applying this year. And our GME program continues to grow with a new integrated vascular surgery residency under Joe Mills' leadership, and new podiatry residency, as well as an expansion of our surgical critical care program. Important, of course, to have great candidates. I think we've all witnessed the growth and improvement in terms of what was already an outstanding residency program. Importantly is how we support our residents once they come here, as depicted on the bottom. We can see that our junior resident ABSITE scores continue to climb. This past year, our PGY1s had a median score in the 70th percentile, which is the highest ever for our department. And as seen in the bottom metric, our PGY1s to 3s have continued to excel in terms of their GME ABSITE scores, reaching percentiles that we have not ever achieved previously. We continue to think outside the box with Holly's leadership, Sydney Webster, and Brad Scott's as well. And in addition to programs that we began over the last 3 years, including a Surgical Jeopardy, Surgical Skills Olympics. Importantly, we have collaborated with our CHA partners and now have an away elective in the highly undesirable location of Colorado Springs. Some of our rotating residents have been spotted in such unusual educational locations as Aspen and Vail. They clearly are getting a tremendous experience, but in all seriousness, our first resident came back having performed over 100 cases in 1 month out at CHI Colorado Springs. So I think a tremendous opportunity there. Our resident research program, which we'll talk about a little bit more a little bit later today under Scott Lemaire's leadership, now offers advanced degrees as depicted there, again adding to a tremendous training. And again, under Eric Soberfine's leadership, our wellness program is depicted at the bottom right in our resident outing. Some nefarious activity going on there. Continues to think out of the box in terms of how to optimize our resident program. I mentioned our co-opting of Nilsen Salas from the dark side at Methodist and under Nilsen's leadership with Mauro Rivera and Avo Artinian. Our Sim Lab, which the Department of Surgery hosts and sponsors for the entire College of Surgeons, has also grown tremendously in the past year, now supporting 1,500 learners per year, triple the amount of contact hours over the last year. And I expect continued growth in terms of robotics courses, advanced simulation training, and the like under Nilsen's extraordinary leadership. Again, as with all things, although we have come far, we have much work to do. Our resident survey results, so they have improved significantly over the last 3 or 4 years, still continue to have room to grow, and we are rededicated and very excited about the opportunities to improve our residency training program even further than it has gone before, as depicted on the bottom right. Some very exciting programs, not only including the Sim Lab, but several that are clearly out of the box that we'll be talking about in just a minute or two. Importantly, our education timeout, sponsored and considered from initiatives at the national level.
Dr. Moore, what would you like to learn here in the case?
I would like to focus on the dissection of the cystic duct.
Okay. Anything specific? Handling of tissue or?
Being delicate with the tissue.
Okay.
So Stephanie Gordy made that teaching video to instruct a new initiative that will be taking place this year in terms of making sure we have a timeout between faculty, residents, and students to properly align goals and objectives before, during, and after cases in the operating room, one of the greatest opportunities to teach and learn. Other residents, as depicted here, continue to perform outreach in support of getting the word out in terms of what is going on in the Department of Surgery. That was a bad slip almost. And as depicted on the left, our website has grown tremendously in terms of traffic. Social media now includes well over 1,500 followers, and Twitter followers include close to 1,000. Under Rizwan and Scott's tutelage, our website has grown tremendously and it's become increasingly more sophisticated. If you've not seen it recently, I encourage you to take a look. And in the next month, we will be launching a series of microsites, which will be outside the Baylor website, so patients can more easily access clinical services offered by our faculty. Again, to get the word out, we have under Renetta Eaton and Amy Silver's leadership, we now, with our division administrators and division chiefs, have launched a series of new national and international outreach programs as depicted here. including, importantly, a major national program in transforming surgery. This will cover general surgery and surgical oncology. And under Joe Mills' leadership, a nearly 1,000-member conference that will be held in March of 2017, looking at peripheral vascular disease, all modeled on Joe Coselli and Alan Stoltz's very successful program now going on for well over a decade in aortic and cardiac surgery. Our summer student program is one that is very old and, again, reflective of what can be accomplished here. Has been revitalized by Cheyenne Izidus, working with Ashley Cremieto, and now draws for its dozen or so spots, well over 120 applicants from around the country. Is highly sought after. This summer we heard the swan songs of the residents and students talking about their summer experience, and on the few moments where we perhaps become for a second jaded about what it is to be a surgeon and working here at the Texas Medical Center, our summer students remind us what a truly spectacular experience truly is. Finally, in terms of our financial mission, we continue to be strong. We continue to grow. Now with a budget of nearly $90 million, and importantly, for the first time in nearly half a decade, we are performing in the black, both in terms of our contribution margin, the amount of funds we make available to the college, but also as depicted in the middle column in terms of our net balance, which is positive for the first time in nearly half a dozen years. So with that as our state of the department, where do we go from here? I'd like to turn the page a bit and talk about the future and where we are going and how we are going to get there. And to do that, I'd like to turn and reference a book that actually a faculty member, Go Anonymous, offered to me, I guess, as a message to me earlier this year, and that is Good to Great by Jim Collins. Good to Great says many things. It talks about transcending the curse of competence, of seeking to be the best in the world at whatever it is that you do, but first and perhaps most importantly, I think very relevant to where we are today as a department, is all about first who, then what. Over the last 4 years, we have recruited nearly 80 full-time faculty members. This includes all above the level of instructor in research. And truly, we have been very fortunate and blessed to have recruited some absolutely tremendous, essentially every single faculty member we have recruited has been a tremendous addition. Easy for me to say and perhaps disingenuous, but perhaps a better metric is the membership of the American Surgical Association, which is the preeminent surgical society in the world. By last count, we have 22 members. The American Surgical is depicted here. The only other institutions in the world who have more are Penn at 29, MGH about the same at 24. So we truly do have who in our Department of Surgery to accomplish good to great. Good to great is a lofty goal, but the metrics and the guidebook, so to speak, of how to get there, for which I would reference a different book called Team of Teams by Stanley McChrystal. McChrystal is the general in charge of the Iraq War. Was for a long time overwhelmed by the chaos of the insurgents and the IEDs and the like. And over the course of McChrystal's tenure in Iraq, he came up with a revelation and a number of fundamental principles which I think are truly reflective of the Department of Surgery and, again, are a guidepost for the future. Amongst the many things that McChrystal pointed out, he talked about a team-of-team solutions emerge as the bottom-up result of interactions rather than top-down, the traditional model for most academic departments. The connectivity of trust and purpose imbues teams with an ability to solve problems that can never be foreseen by a single manager. Individuals and teams closest to the problem, armed by transparency and empowered execution, offer the best ability to act decisively. And finally, an important reminder, leaders must be gardeners rather than chess masters, enabling rather than directing, acting with eyes on, hands off. I would suggest there are innumerable examples over the last year and last 4 years of our team of teams, perhaps none better than the efforts and progress of our transplant division led by John Goss, which is seen here, has done a phenomenal job in terms of clinical growth, quality and excellence, and new programs such as the Wilson Disease Center of Excellence. Under Jeff Morgan's new leadership, carrying forward the legacy of and contributions of Bud Frazier and Billy Cohn, a tremendous new resurgence of novel innovation and technology development, building on Bud's clinical record of over 1,400 heart transplants and over 1,200 VAD implants. New programs brought back to Baylor and Texas Heart include a total artificial heart implantation, and as depicted in that video work that Bud and Billy are doing in terms of a total implantable artificial heart, the Bivacor, which would likely revolutionize the concept of total artificial technology. David Sugarbaker continues to set new landmarks and contributions in terms of the growth of the general thoracic surgery program, which did not exist 3 years ago and is now performing well over 600 cases a year, 40% year-on-year growth, all in the context of what was a non-existent program 3 or 4 years ago. Truly tremendous contribution, reflective of what a team of teams really means. At a more nascent level, but equally as dramatic and inspiring, Lisa Halbert showed up in January with little instruction, with very little in terms of ask. Lisa has done incredible work in terms of creating, with Avo Ortinian support, a new IBD program. Did not exist at Baylor until Lisa's arrival. New colorectal, transanal, pelvic floor programs, again, none of which existed at all before Lisa's arrival here, and now rival anything available at the Texas Medical Center. Another example of the team of team concepts, individuals stepping forward and doing great things. Stacy Carter, proud to say one of our graduating residents, went over to MD Anderson for a year. Stacy agreed before she left that she would come back, and is now with Elizabeth Bonifit's collaboration leading our breast surgery program to new heights. One example of Stacy's thinking out of the box. Many are familiar with the concept of needle localization for breast surgery, where women have to go through what's probably the barbaric practice of having wires inserted in their breasts in order to localize tumors. Under Stacy's leadership, that is going to be a thing of the past. And now women needing breast surgery procedures will have a very small reflector device inserted to mark the lesion so they can go home, not need to walk around with horrible contraptions as part of their procedure, and truly a step forward, all of which Stacy put together and brought forth independently under her own efforts. Similarly, James Suleberg took the ball and ran with it. Said not only is he going to have a endocrine and thyroid cancer program, he is going to make it phenomenal. And James, without any direction, without any supervision, said, not only are we going to provide a preeminent thyroid cancer program, we're going to make it highly efficient for our patients. And James has innovated a new program where the goal is, and what they have accomplished is, within a week of the initial phone call, patients will be diagnosed, treated, and go through their care. Truly, under Steve Curley's leadership, two phenomenal examples of what the Cancer Center and the Surgical Oncology Group can contribute. Finally, another example of team of teams, Joe Mills came a year ago, and peripheral vascular was almost non-existent in terms of state-of-the-art care. Houston and Texas have some of the highest amputation rates in the entire country. Joe, with his partners Miguel Montero Baker and Jair Chung, are changing all that. Here depicted is both their team and the phenomenal growth that vascular surgery has enjoyed over the past year, again representative of what a team of teams can accomplish. And yet another example, the robotic surgery program, again nearly non-existent 2 years ago, now flourishing with double the case volume since 2015, and Christy Chai, Avo Ortinian have again taken the ball, ran with it, with tremendous accomplishments. Finally, as I mentioned before, acute care surgery, critical care surgery, almost non-existent specialties a few years ago at Baylor and Baylor St. Luke's Medical Center under Rob Todd and Rob Souther's leadership, with Bill Fisher supporting them on. Tremendous growth in the last year, and we now offer state-of-the-art care for acute care and critical care across the entire Texas Medical Center complex. Sometimes those teams are individuals supported by small groups, and Bijan Najafi joined us also a year ago, and from nothing now has nearly $2 million in total funding and $1 million in NIH grants, offering a range of absolutely out-of-the-box technologies, including those to aid in locomotion and ambulation and protects diabetics with state-of-the-art technology. Stuart Core, as I mentioned a few days ago, heard Scott Lemaire's research retreat about the need to reach out and collaborate further. Stuart said, "I got that," and within 6 weeks had organized a collaborative research day involving almost a dozen different institutions and 180 attendees that showcase research and opportunities for collaboration and translational efforts in the Department of Surgery. Truly an example of what individuals can contribute. Those individuals do not have to be faculty members. Rachel Davis joined the department as a resident 3 years ago, heard about our goals and interest in developing a global residency program, and Rachel said, "I got that." We said, "Rachel will support you," and Rachel single-handedly over the last 2 years devised and put into place a global residency training program that has taken her already to Guatemala, as pictured on the top right, and soon to go off to Malawi to get training in global health and surgery. And under Rachel's leadership, advanced practice and certification in terms of tropical disease, all done by Rachel leading the way. So finally, if good to great is our goal and team of teams is our roadmap, I think we need one bit more to help us in terms of our operator's manual. And for that, and for anyone who's been in my office, they see this on my desk, I would refer us to the 1 Minute Manager by Blanchard and Johnson, a classic from the 1990s. And 1 Minute Manager talks about a couple of other key principles. Those are of feedback, transparency, constructive advancement that is non-judgmental, not personal, and one that is allows us to provide feedback that would be the breakfast of champions. All clearly principles that are consistent with surgical principles of support and collaboration, but ones that were not nearly as evidenced as they might have been. So in this regard, Scott Lemaire took the ball of presented to us by the college. The XYZ plan includes a Z component that incentivizes and awards academic excellence, and Scott, working with others, Holly Shilstone and others, created our Z Academic RVU Scorecard, which over the past 2 years has provided nearly $500,000 in incentives to our faculty for their academic accomplishments, which includes research efforts, leadership regionally and nationally, publications, and involvement in education and the like. These provide scorecards now for our faculty so they have good feedback to see where they are and where they potentially can go. Last year, we also were fortunate to have American Airlines come join us, and in a collaboration that is ongoing, we sought to understand the best of the best in terms of how clinical quality and safety can be optimized. And under Rob Todd's leadership, we are launching this year 3 new programs in our AIR program, our Aviation Applications in Surgery, that seek to take the best examples of Six Sigma clinical quality improvement and organizational efficiency, and creating 3 new programs, one in terms of self-reporting of errors, a jump seat observer program which will help using students to observe and understand what is happening and what is not happening in the operating room. And finally, even a faculty satisfaction monitoring program working with Linda Taylor from the college, who will really optimize our own professional satisfaction and making sure that what we are doing aligns with our goals. We've changed our M&M on the basis of these efforts, and more changes to come. So the AIR Project 1, as I mentioned, is self-reporting of errors, is going live this week, again under Scott's leadership. This will be opportunity for all of us to contribute, point out things that can be improved, opportunities unmet, and then under Scott and Rob Todd's leadership, we're going to be reporting out to the department on these opportunities for improvement. So truly, I think over the last year, we have set ourselves up well for our final stage of good to great. I certainly think we have the who. I certainly think we have the greatest platform to accomplish these things, and I certainly think that we will be able to achieve whatever goal we set forth for each other. Along the way, over the next couple of years, there are two monumental opportunities to accomplish these things. The first is the new Baylor St. Luke's Medical Center, pictured on the left, which is truly going to be a phenomenal institution to work. 650 beds, encompassing 40% growth in a clinical enterprise that will incorporate the Texas Heart Institute and the Dan L. Duncan Cancer Center as independent pavilions. And finally, hopefully with Baylor's leadership and our TMC CEO, Bobby Robbins, TMC3 will truly be Texas-sized and a great institution that will set the pace for the entire world. This will be a research park built right around the new base, Baylor St. Luke's Medical Center. It will be shaped in the size in the form of a double helix, which again, in true Texas tradition, will be visible from space. Whatever. And again, I think will be a landmark in terms of making Baylor St. Luke's Medical Center, and the Texas Medical Center the center of the world. CHI's goals for us in accomplishing that is depicted here. Now includes health centers and services around 22,000 square miles of East Texas. And our goal in the next 1,000 days, as put forth by Mike Covert, is to have 1 million lives covered with over 1,000 physicians and extenders and a very large-scale provider network across East Texas. I think highly accomplishable and truly reflective of what will be Baylor's imprint on the national stage. So in conclusion, I think we are there. I think we are ready. I think we have the people to accomplish those goals. And I think we are ready, in the form Scott Holmes noted, the 15 blade being readied for action. The time is now.